yundela dina ngi mobile kishta mobile na la di tinsidela la tin mare tinsid to mobile na lo lo of the YouTube link. This is what is happening. Okay, setting a proper motivation. Refuge field. Visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in front of us. And how you visualize them? They are like very affectionate parents. And imagine that you come home demoralized, and your parents are waiting there to give full love, affection, and attention and embrace. And visualize Bodhicitta field, your two parents, and all dear Mother sentient beings, and everyone who passed away, who died to this coronavirus, and everyone who is in the hospital, and everyone who is being badly affected by the coronavirus. In fact, everyone with us. And the purpose of this practice is to look for ways and means by which to get rid of this coronavirus effect, and that which can be done through accumulating a collective positive karma. And for that matter, what we are doing here, and of course there is so much of obstacles, even accumulating positive karma. Even the beginning of this program, there's a shutdown of the Facebook link. Again, we are left with no option other than to switch to YouTube. Lucky that we have the IT person who is working on this. Okay, so we visualize all of them, and that the purpose is to accumulate a collective positive karma to combat the effect of the coronavirus in ways of creating the energy to develop the vaccine, the required vaccine, the medication as soon as possible, and that at least the fatal cases will happen, and at least number of people will be affected. So this is the whole purpose of what we are here together for. So with that in mind, let's turn to page 3. And teach by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And teach by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And teach by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanje joda tsoge chonam la chanju bardo dane gyapsu che dage jinso kebe tsonam ge dola penjire sanje dubarai sho sanje choda tsoge chonam la chanju bardo dane gyapsu che Dage jinso kebe sonam ke dola penjire sanje rubarai sho. Just 1 minute. That you asked it.
Jola zoge jonam la chanjo bardo dane gyapsu che dage jinso gebe tsonam ge jola penjere sangye dubarai sho. Independent origination. There is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is free of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all leads here seeking pacification and complete peace, who through the knowledge of paths causes ourselves being migrated to achieve aims of the world, and who through the possession of omniscience helps subduers expound a variety of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata, protector, to you among prostrations. So sorry for the interruption. There is this is where we are trying to help the people who are taking part in this. Who intend to take part in this, they cannot join us because of Facebook. We are at the moment doing on YouTube, so they are helping to coordinate the audience to move from Facebook to YouTube. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata, and protector, to you I make prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha I make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirmanant. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena are of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expansive periods of aeons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of the suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Okay, page 14, praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. As we recite this, just see what are the qualities indicated here through which the Buddha Shakyamuni was praised. It is not to make the Buddha happy. It is that to see that these are the qualities on the basis of which the Buddha Shakyamuni was praised, and this is how he became enlightened to benefit all the demon sentient beings. So knowing this, see, if you have some of these qualities within you, if yes, then nurture them further. If not, then knowing that these are the qualities, these are the qualities which should grow from the seed of the Buddha, the seed of the Buddha nature that is within each one of us. And of course, the seed of all these qualities are there within us in the form of the Buddha nature. So this one, and then once cultivated,
cultivated of these qualities, our job is to nurture them further and then make them to blossom in the final fruit of the Buddhahood for the benefit of all human sentient beings. Okay. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the four destroyer, completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, know of the world, supreme God of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subdued from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. O supreme amongst humans, you are born on this earth, you paced of 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, forms supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Just to be like you, the 3 worlds are not. Incompatible wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the filled of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated, and also show the path to liberation, the holy feel qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha are prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue mind thoroughly, this is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through this marriage may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the 4 faults and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness and death. Okay, Heart Sutra, page 29, Heart Sutra. I prostrate to the outright Triple Gem. Thus did I hear at one time the Buddha was dwelling on the mass of Vultures mountain in Rajgriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also, at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom and beheld those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara: how should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra: Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly, beholding those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form, form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, composite factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no composite factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object to touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element and so on, up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation of path, there is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration, and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the 3 times also manifest a complete awakening to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared, Deyatha Om Gade Gade Bara Gade Bara Samgade Bodhi Swaha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from that concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom, just as you've indicated, even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Buddha having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharitvatiputra, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding the entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras and gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that is spoken by the Buddha. Okay, well, we'll recite this mantra 7 times, and keeping in mind that the Buddha Shakyamuni is exhorting us thus, don't remain in the fears of samsara, come towards the ultimate happiness by awakening the seed of Buddha nature within you. And you hearing this melodious voice, you then inform this to all the demon sentient beings, all those who die to the coronavirus, all those who are in the hospital being badly affected, and everybody who lives in the fear and anxiety as to when this disease, the virus may contract this, the disease or the coronavirus, Okay, so, and everybody who's affected, just let us all visualize them, that they hearing what you're saying, they are so happy that, okay, yes, we'll join this journey of traversing the path to enlightenment where nobody will be affected by the external factors anymore. Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha. 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 I'll continue reading from where we left. By the teachings of the three supreme jewels possessing power of truth, may inner and outer hindrance be transformed. May they be dispelled. May they be non-existent. May they be pacified. May all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified. May the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified. May we be separated from problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma. May all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma. May auspiciousness of perfect happiness pervade this place now. Okay, now what we do is that we will read the reading of the sutra, the sutra or the Indian and Tibetan masters' compositions is the 37 Practices of a Bodhisattva, which is on page 139. 37 Practices of Bodhisattva by Gyaltse Thome Sambo, page 139. Okay, page 139. I'm going to quickly explain to you or introduce the author, Gyaltse Thome Sambo. Gyaltse means Bodhisattva. And this incredibly great enlightened, great scholar plus a highly enlightened practitioner. And he displayed extraordinary qualities of compassion when he was just a young toddler. And then, of course, at such a tender age, he displayed such quality of the Bodhisattva. At one point, to make it very quick, at one point, he was being led by his uncle, and then it was a very stormy day, and then this young boy, age 4 or 5, this young boy, as the storm, the wind was blowing so powerfully, then the boy was just looking in the sky where the wind is blowing and carrying all the stuff from the ground. And this boy started to cry, scream and cry. And the uncle, he knew the boy so well, and the uncle also knew why this boy is crying. And the uncle would say that, "What a stupid boy, silly boy! So look at why are you crying? All these things which are being carried away by the wind, they are not the birds; they are simply the leaves." And the boy felt so relieved to see that what is being the tossed in the air by the wind, in the space by the wind, they are not the birds, they are not the poor birds, they are just the leaves. The boy felt so relieved. This is the amount of compassion at such a tender age that this boy displayed such the incredible compassion, intense, spontaneous compassion towards the living creatures. Okay. So this is who this great teacher, and then later he became a highly enlightened scholar plus a teacher and the practitioner, and came to be referred to him as Gyaltse Thome Sambo. Thome Sambo was his name, and Gyaltse is the Bodhisattva Thome Sambo. Okay. Of course, there are more the accounts of very interesting, very touching accounts of this great Bodhisattva. Okay, now without much ado, we will recite the 37 Practices of Bodhisattva. This is a very comprehensive the teaching on how somebody following the Bodhisattva path, somebody following the path to achieve the infinite happiness for himself and the infinite happiness for others, how should that person comprehensively practice the Dharma? Okay, let's read. And those of you who do not have this text, don't worry. And as I read this, I'll try to read it a little slowly so that everybody can understand what is being said there. The most important thing is the reflection and the meanings reflected. That is the most important thing. So as the meanings are reflected, you'll see the Buddha nature is being activated. That is the key for our reading this text. Namo Dukeshvaraya. You see all that phenomena neither come nor go. It's about emptiness. Still you strive whole solely for the benefit of beings. So that is the conventional truth. Supreme Guru and Protector Avalokiteshvara, to you I continually bow with body, speech and mind. The perfect Buddhas, the sources of benefit and happiness, arise from practicing the genuine Dharma, which in turn depends on knowing how to practice. So I'll explain the Bodhisattva practices. Now that you have obtained this precious human body, the great boat, so difficult to find, in order to free yourself and others from the ocean of samsara, listening, reflecting and meditating with diligence, day and night, is the practice of a Bodhisattva. Passion towards friends churns like water. Hatred towards enemies burns like fire. Through the darkness of ignorance, one forgets what to adopt and what to reject. To abandon one's homeland is the practice of a Bodhisattva. Giving up inhospitable places, mental afflictions gradually decrease. With no distractions, virtuous activities naturally increase. When mind becomes clear, conviction in the Dharma is born. Therefore, seeing solitude is the practice of a bodhisattva. Friends and relatives acquainted for long will separate. Passions gained with exertion will be left behind. Possessions. Possessions gained with exertion will be left behind. Consciousness, a guest, will leave the guest house of the body. To let go of this life is the practice of a bodhisattva. When, due to friendship with someone, the three poisons increase, degrading the activities of listening, reflecting, and meditating, and destroys loving kindness and compassion. To give up such a friendship is the practice of a bodhisattva. When relying on someone, your negativities diminish, and your positive qualities grow like a waxing moon. To cherish such a spiritual friend more than your own body is the practice of a bodhisattva. Themselves captives in the prison of samsara, whom can the worldly gods protect? Therefore, to seek refuge in the three jewels, who do not betray you, is the practice of a bodhisattva. The suffering of the lower realms, so difficult to bear, is what the Buddha taught to be the fruit of negative actions. Therefore, even in the course of your life, never to commit negative actions is the practice of a bodhisattva. Happiness in the three realms, like dew on a blade of grass, is subject to instantaneous fading away. To strive for the supreme state of liberation that never wavers is the practice of a bodhisattva. From beginningless time your mothers have cherished you. If they suffer now, what good is your own happiness? Therefore, in order to liberate an infinite number of sentient beings, cultivating bodhicitta is the practice of a bodhisattva. All suffering comes from yearning for your own happiness. The perfect Buddhas are born from the intention to benefit others. Therefore, to truly exchange your own happiness for the suffering of others is the practice of a bodhisattva. Even if somebody driven by excessive desire steals all your wealth or incites someone else to steal it, to dedicate to this person your body's possession and all your virtues of the three times is the practice of a bodhisattva. If someone cuts off your head, even when you have not done the slightest wrong, through the power of compassion, to take their misdeeds upon yourself is the practice of a bodhisattva. Should someone slander you and proclaim it in a billion worlds, in return with a loving heart to proclaim their good qualities is the practice of a bodhisattva. If in the midst of a crowd someone exposes your hidden faults and abuses you for them, to bow to them with respect, seeing them as a spiritual friend or a teacher, is the practice of a bodhisattva. If someone whom you cherish as dearly as your own child takes you for an enemy, then like a mother who loves a sick child, to love that person even more is the practice of a bodhisattva. Even when someone who is your equal or inferior, driven by arrogance, seeks to disparage you, to place them on the crown of your head with the same respect as we accord your guru is the practice of a bodhisattva. Though gripped by acute poverty and constantly scorned by others, stricken by terrible illness and possessed by evil spirits, to take upon yourself the negativities and suffering of every being and never to get discouraged is the practice of a bodhisattva. Though you may be famous and prominent, someone to whom others bow, though you amass riches like that of the god of wealth, to see that worldly splendor has no essence, and thus to be without arrogance is the practice of a bodhisattva. If you have not pacified the enemy of your own anger, combating outer opponents will only make them multiply. Therefore, with the army of loving kindness and compassion, to tame your own mind is the practice of a bodhisattva. Sensual pleasures are like salt water. The more you partake of them, the more your craving will increase. Therefore, when something arouses attachment, to abandon it immediately is the practice of a bodhisattva. All appearances are your own mind, and mind itself primordially transcends all mental fabrications. Knowing this and to remain free from apprehending the signs of subject and the object is the practice of a bodhisattva. When you encounter objects that please your mind, like rainbows in the summer, though they seem beautiful, not to view them as real, to give up attachment to them is the practice of a bodhisattva. All suffering is like the death of a child in a dream. To take such delusive appearances as true, how exhausting. Therefore, whenever you encounter unpleasant circumstances, to see them as deception is the practice of a bodhisattva. If those who aspire to enlightenment willingly give up their bodies. What need is there to mention external objects? Therefore, with no hope of reward or benefit, to give with generosity is a practice of a bodhisattva. If lack of discipline prevents you from benefiting yourself, then your wish to benefit others is just a joke. Therefore, to observe discipline with no longing for worldly existence is the practice of a bodhisattva. For a bodhisattva who seeks a wealth of virtue, every perpetrator of harm is like a precious treasure. Therefore, without feeling irritation towards any, to cultivate patience is the practice of a bodhisattva. If Shravakas and Pradika Buddhas who strive for their benefit alone exert efforts as if to extinguish a fire burning on their heads, to cultivate joyous effort, the wellspring of positive qualities is the practice of a bodhisattva. Special insight, perfectly endowed with shamatha, completely conquers all afflictions. Knowing this and cultivating meditative concentration that transcends the four formless states is the bodhisattva, the practice of the first five perfections. But without wisdom cannot achieve perfect enlightenment. Equipped with skillful means and cultivating the wisdom of non-conceptualizing the three spheres is a practice of a bodhisattva. If you do not analyze your own faults, you might put on a dharmic facade while behaving in a non-dharmic way. Therefore, continually analyze your faults and then discarding them is the practice of a bodhisattva. If compelled by your own afflictions, you speak of the faults of other bodhisattvas, you yourself will degenerate. Therefore, never citing the faults of those who have entered the minor path is the practice of a bodhisattva. Desire for gain and services leads to mutual arguments, and activities of listening, reflecting, and meditating decline. Therefore, to relinquish attachment to the households of friends, relatives, and benefactors is the practice of a bodhisattva. Harsh words disturb the minds of others and degenerate a bodhisattva's conduct. Therefore, to give up harsh and unpleasant speech towards others is the practice of a bodhisattva. Once you become accustomed to afflictions, they are hard to undermine with antidotes. Therefore, with the remedial weapons of mindfulness and introspection, to forcefully eliminate afflictions such as attachment, the moment they arise is the practice of a bodhisattva. Okay, just 1 minute, we need to change battery. Okay, 145, page 145, stanza 36. In brief, wherever you and whatever you do, always examine the state of your own mind. Continuously working for the welfare of others is a practice for bodhisattva. To dedicate the merits thus accumulated through these efforts towards enlightenment, with a wisdom free of concepts of the three spheres, in order to eliminate the suffering for all the infinite beings, is the practice of a bodhisattva. By relying on the words of genuine masters, I explain the meaning of meanings taught in the sutras, tantras, and treatises in the form of these 37 practices of bodhisattva to benefit those who wish to train on the bodhisattva path. Because my intelligence is small and my studies few, I lack linguistic skills to please the scholars, yet since they are based on sutras and the teachings of the genuine masters, I believe these practices of bodhisattvas are flawless. Nevertheless, since the vastness of bodhisattva contact is difficult to fathom, by someone like me with an inferior intellect, I pray to the genuine masters to consider with patience all my flaws such as contradiction, incoherence, and so forth. By virtue of the merit gathered here, and by the power of conventional and ultimate bodhicitta, may all sentient beings become like the benefactor Avalokiteshvara, who dwells neither in the extremes of samsara nor in that of the solitary peace. Okay. Now we will do the meditation on emptiness. So there's a great obstacle. So the wisdom of emptiness is the only path that can liberate us from samsara, and anything else that we do, not being influenced by the wisdom of emptiness, somehow they are to not really trap, but they are happening in the dream of your own mental projection, and we're constantly being in the trap of samsara. So, the wisdom of emptiness, when we try to embrace the wisdom of emptiness, in a way we are trying to eject out of samsara. And naturally, the debts of samsara, meaning the loans, the debts of the negative karmas, they try to pull you back to samsara by creating hindrances in you, studying, reflecting, and meditating emptiness. And today, the morning, the global prayer is as the part of the meditation. We are doing the meditation emptiness, and again there's the breakdown in the Facebook page. So again, this is a big obstacle, and many people cannot take part in this. Very sorry. And those of us who are taking part through this YouTube, which our friend Mr. Tenzin Sedenla helped greatly to switch from the Facebook to the YouTube very quickly. We are extremely thankful to Mr. Tenzin Sedenla, our technical the staff here. And meanwhile, all of us, please, if you're able to manage to upload this on the Facebook page, well and good. If not, please inform your friends that this is still available on the YouTube page. Okay. So for the meditation emptiness, I like to quickly give this explanation. Page 6 of the Blaze of Non-Dual Bodhicitta, the book, page 6. In the end, this stanza which we read this in the beginning of this program, in Tibetan, Masam Jume Shera Parushin, Make Mega Namke Ngongin, Sosorari Ishi Juba Tusum Give Yumla Chaselo. In English, beyond our trends, thought and expression is a professional wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space, is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the 3 times of obeisance. Okay, this is the praise to the wisdom, the professional wisdom of emptiness. It says, beyond our trends, the real experience of emptiness is beyond utterance. Beyond utterance meaning that words cannot fully express it, what is being experienced in its bare form. Thought, beyond utterance, beyond thought, beyond expression, is the professional wisdom, which is unborn. Unborn meaning that in this experience of emptiness, everything dissolves. All the conventionalities dissolve, like being born, production, birth, they all dissolve. Likewise, unceased. Unceased means death, cessation. They all dissolve. So therefore, there's no birth, there's no ceasing in this experience of the emptiness, and has the nature of space. Space is devoid of any tangibilities. Likewise, this experience of emptiness is devoid of any the conventionalities. It is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. So as you see this experience of emptiness, the duality dissolves. So this non-dual experience of the ultimate reality, this is to be experienced only by the self-realized wisdom, not by any conventional mind. How the non-dually one experiences that. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the 3 times of obeisance. To you, this you here refers to the wisdom of emptiness. For the reason that the wisdom of emptiness, anybody who practices this in its full form, this person traverses along the path to remove the mental defilements, gade para samgade bodhi swaha. That is, that all the mental defilements are removed completely, and your true nature becomes manifest in the form of the bodhi, full awakening, where all the mental defilements leave, and then you experience the total fearlessness and the infinite happiness. So this reality is not really confined to the human beings. This is what anybody, as human beings, animals, insects, cats, dogs, spirits, hungry ghosts, hell beings, god and goddesses, every living creature, if they resort to this this wisdom of emptiness, referred to as the mother of the Buddhas of the 3 times, you as human beings, animals, insects, spirits, hungry ghosts, hell beings, god goddesses, anybody who practices this wisdom of emptiness, this wisdom of emptiness will give birth you to be born as the Buddha. So therefore, this wisdom of emptiness is referred to as the mother of all the Buddhas of the 3 times. And anybody as the people who are not aware of what is happening today here, the meditation emptiness, and you being a part of, each one of us, we being a part of this, see the value of this. We are trying to grab at what is known as the mother of the Buddhas of the 3 times, and the perfection of the wisdom. This is what we're trying to grab at. And I know that some of the participants here, you are really practicing compassion in action, helping the human beings, animals, the rescuing dogs, and so forth. There are many ways by which you are trying to help others. And meanwhile, while we help others, see if we can help them not only physically, but also through these teachings. Try to share these teachings in words, and practice it yourself, and share these teachings in experience. How? You no need to verbally say, this is my experience. Just practice it, and as you practice it, you manifest that teaching inside. And you go there, the people will see, people will feel something, the animals will feel something. So that is what is happening, and this is how you can really share your teachings verbally, experientially, and emotionally. So this is how we can benefit sentient beings. Okay. With this in mind, the meditation emptiness. So today, because of little bit technical problems there, we're going to, of course, it'll take us like 15 minutes. This meditation emptiness, which is again going to, of course, this number 1 is the analytical meditation. Analytical meditation, and it's going to be a guided meditation. Analytical meditation may not be guided, but what you're doing here is a guided meditation. And those of us who are not really familiar with the concept of emptiness, at times it may become a little technical. Don't worry. Just keep in mind that, okay, so these are technical things involved there, and yet this is the most precious thing in this world, which can potentially give me the greatest of the treasure. That is the treasure of the total fearlessness, and the treasure of the infinite happiness. So therefore, this is so precious. No matter what, I will take this as a challenge to learn this in the future, to study more, reflect more, and eventually experience the wisdom of emptiness with myself. Okay. So therefore, those of us who are not really familiar with the study and reflection on the meditation emptiness, don't worry too much. Just try your best to follow the instructions to the best you can, and see how much the experience that you can invoke. And where you find it a little technical, you should feel joy that, okay, now I see where I should go further to study more, reflect more on the wisdom of emptiness. Now this is my next task. This is how we should be thinking about. Okay, ready? First of all, just 2 minutes of breathing meditation to prepare ourselves in the emptiness meditation. Ready? 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes breathing meditation. Okay, ready for meditation emptiness? Okay, today we will meditate on the emptiness of, okay, let's say emptiness of self, and with self, yourself. If you learn how to see the emptiness of yourself, then the ego can subside, and the very strong hold of the self, when you confront with challenges, difficulties, and tragedies, then the feeling of the self gets solidified, and then the anxiety, anguish, they all simply increase, multiply, proliferate. They get fastered. So therefore, to curb that, to meditate emptiness of self, if you learn how to meditate emptiness of self, that will be very helpful. Later on, we also need to learn to be within the self. We see that there's a body and we have the mind. And the mind is one which dictates who the self is, what are you doing, and so forth. And then the feeling of the pain, anxiety, anguish, and so forth. This is also related to the mind. So there is another method, the meditation on the emptiness of the mind. This is another meditation. This is going to be, again, this is extremely powerful. But the meditation emptiness of the mind is, for that matter, we need other prerequisites. But for the meditation, the self, emptiness of the self per se, this is also extremely beneficial, very good. And so this is what we're going to try today. Okay. Just sit in a relaxed state. Stop ruminating over the past experiences. Stop engaging. Stop anticipating for the future events. Disengage yourself from the 5 sensory objects. Be in the present moment with respect to the instructions given. Follow the instructions by being the present along with the instructions, and try to invoke the respective experiences. Don't try to correlate anything of what you are hearing now, what you are following now, with the past events, the future events, and with the sensory objects. Just be in the present moment with respect to the instructions given. Okay. What are you doing? I'm meditating. What is your body doing? My body is meditating in a meditative posture. What is your mind doing? My mind is, again, directed towards meditation. Good. Tell me, how does this person who you identify as this person, that person, with this name, how do you see this person? As objectively so solidified, objectified there, or like a dream created by your mind, like a movie projected by the movie projector, like an illusion, like a magical illusion created, conjured by the magician. How does this self appear to you? All these examples: magical illusion created by the magician, mirage, dream, illusion, they are all the examples, metaphors for things existing by the power of the subject, known as subjective reality. Whereas you see the self, how the beautiful flowers appears to you, how the delicious meal appears to you, how the alcohol appears to an alcoholic, how the substance appears to the drugs appear to substance abuse. So there we see things as so objective real. That is known as objective reality. How do we see the self? As objectively real, or as subjectively real, coming from the dreaming mind, from your mind, like way the dream is created by the dreaming mind, or nothing driven by mind, is so objectively, so solidly there, so well defined from its own side, in and of itself, how does the self appear to you? Of course, so real, so solidified from the object, so objectified from the object. Yes, believing in this perception is a self-grasping ignorance. Ignorance in viewing the self in a way which is directly in opposition with how the self truly exists. While the self exists as just empty from the object, all coming from the subject, empty from the object, but the self-grasping ignorance sees the self as so solidified, something fully occupied from the object, This is self-grasping ignorance. Okay. But how can I know that this is ignorance? How can I know that this representation of the self is not the reality? Good. Remember what Aranagarjuna said. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? Just imagine, from distance you see me, from 1 kilometer distance you see me in the water, and you want to evaluate if I'm really in water or what you're seeing is just deception, a mirage. How do you do? To validate, to evaluate what is happening, whether it's true or not, you come closer towards the place from where the mirage, from where that water was appearing. Coming closer, you realize there's nothing there as water. It's just a person there. From this you will realize, you will conclude that what you earlier saw as water was deceptive. It was just mirage. So that was done through coming closer towards the object. Likewise, to see that this person exists so objectified, so solidly there from the object, in and of itself, from the object, which is what we call as the objective perception, objective existence, and to evaluate whether this perception is valid or not, we go closer to this object. Okay, now let us go closer to this object. By going closer to this object, if you find anything else which is not the self, let us just ignore them, because we are interested in the objectively existent self, a self which exists objectively. So the approach should be going closer to this object. Okay, now let us go closer to this object. Going closer to this object, we see that there's a thin layer of the skin. Of course, that is not me. Just keep aside all those things which are not their self. Behind that thin layer of the skin are the fatty tissues. Of course, they are not me. Remove them. Something goes wrong with the fatty tissues, medically they can be removed, and then you are still intact. So the fatty tissue is not you. Remove them. Behind that, cartilages, muscles, flesh, blood vessels, then the bones, the skeleton, then the heart, lungs, brain, liver, gallbladder, intestine, stomach, spleen, pancreas. All these solid parts, they constitute the element of earth. None of these is the self. Okay, solid parts constitute the element of earth. Element of earth is not the self. Okay, keep that aside. Now the element of water. 4 liters of blood, which is pumped in and out by the heart to the different parts of the body. Even that is not the self. Of course, this is not the self. Keep that aside. Element of fire, the body heat. Even that is also not me. Keep that aside. Element of air, 4.6 liters of air that you breathe in and out through your lungs. Of course, that is not me. Keep that aside. I'm in space. I'm a solid person. There's space vacuum in nature. And my body is 99.999% space. Even that is also not me. Keep that aside. What is left now? Only the consciousness of the mind is left. Even this consciousness is also not me. I'm a male. I'm a female. This consciousness does not have a gender. Gender is posited on the basis of the body. So therefore this consciousness is also not me. And people can see me. People cannot see my consciousness or the mind. So therefore the element of consciousness or the element of mind is also not me. Keep that aside. Okay, keeping aside the 6 elements, what do you find? Nothing is left there. Just stay there. All the 6 elements are removed. And you don't see anything there. Just stay there. Stay there for a while. This is not emptiness, but just stay there. This is very important. Just stay in this experience. Now bring back the 6 elements. Tell me, which of the 6 elements is this person, which you identified as the self, I? Which of the 6 elements? None. Okay. Now we go too close to the object. We go too close to the object, and if the self does exist objectively, we should be able to find it from there. Now we have come too close to that place, which we call as a from there, from the object. We come too close to there, and there, if the self does exist from the object side, there are only 2 alternatives. There are only 2 options. One is, what you find is, if at all something is there, it is the 6 elements. Okay, which of 6 elements is self? None. Keep that aside. If the 6 elements are not the self, there are only 2 options. Either 6 elements, if at all something is there, the 6 elements. If that is not the case, then remove that and see if there is something left there as a self different from the 6 elements. Remove the 6 elements. What is left there? There's nothing left there as a different from the 6 elements. Okay, these are the 2 only options. Either the 6 elements or different from 6 elements. None of these 2 holds true. That's true. Okay, 6 elements. Just look at each of the 6 elements. And earth, the solid part of your body. Heart, the lungs, the skeleton, the brain, the spleen, the stomach, intestine, liver. Just try to see all the solid parts, the element, the skeleton. None of these is this self, is this me. Okay, then different from the 6 elements. No, nothing's left there then. Nothing's left there. These are only 2 options, because coming too close to the object, if the self does exist objectively, it should be findable there, from the object. From the object, we see that nothing's there to be found. Okay, stay in this experience. Number 1, the 6 elements. None of the 6 elements is a self. By going closer to the object, by going closer to the object, none of the 6 elements is this self. Stay in this experience. Okay, next. If the 6 elements are not the self, keeping aside 6 elements, what is there left? What is there left as a self, different from the 6 elements? Nothing there. Again, stay in this experience. Combining the 2 experiences, that if the self does exist from the object, these are the only 2 options, and both the options fail to justify the self existing from the object. Okay, this concludes that from the object there's nothing there to be identified as a self. This is known as the self being empty of objectivity, or the self being objectively empty. Okay, stay in this experience. Besides the 6 elements and different 6 elements, there's nothing there from the object as a self. Stay in this experience. It's quite scary, but stay in this experience. Okay, with this experience, if a tinge of a fear comes to you, if it makes you a little uneasy, little uneasiness there, or the little haziness coming to your mind, you are in the proper track. And this a tinge of fear, don't worry. And if in some cases there is a inexpressible feeling of tranquility coming within you, ease coming within you, extreme feeling of the peace is coming in you. These are all extremely precious. It doesn't mean that what you're experiencing is emptiness, but you are on the proper track, you are in the correct direction. So this is what is being indicated. Okay, now stay in this experience where going closer to this object, the six elements are not the self, different from six elements is not the self. Both options prove to be are not working. So from the object, where's the self? It's not really there's a self there at all from the object. Okay, where's the self? It simply disappears. Stay in this experience. You're not saying that the self is not existent. What you're saying is the self does not exist through this ultimate analysis. Going towards the object, the self is not findable. This is known as the self is not findable objectively. This is the meaning. What if you discover, you have not discovered the self to be empty. What if you discover the self is empty objectively? That the self is objectively empty. This is what you've discovered. Okay, stay in this experience. Now imagine that you come out of the meditation. Imagine. Again the self comes back. Okay, yes. Again go back to this ultimate analysis. Again the self disappears, it's not there. Besides the six elements, nothing is there as a self. Again come out. Again the self appears. Again go in the ultimate analysis. Again the self disappears. There's a constant change happening. The self appears, disappears, appears, disappears. There's a constant change happening. What is this change? For sure, most of you will say that this change is simply change the perception. Yes, whatever is involved with this change is purely perception. So the self is also a part of this change. Emptiness of self is also a part of this change. So therefore they are both just purely perception. Purely perception meaning purely perception of this subject, nothing from the object. Okay, so nothing from the object means from the object there's nothing there as a self, but a mere perception. On that perception, undeniably something appears, something is being perceived. From the object is not there. Perception, yes, undeniably something appears to my mind. So therefore, since nothing is there from the object, it still appears. This is known as a mere appearance. So the self is a mere appearance. Mere appearance meaning what is happening to the subject. Mere appearance from the object is totally empty. Stay in this experience. Okay, from this mere appearance, on this level of the mere appearance, everything is operating. Everything is operating on this mere experience of the appearance, mere experience of the mere appearance. On that level, everything is operating so efficaciously, so infallibly. Infallibly, cause and effect, everything is operating on that level, the mere appearance. This is the harmony between the infallible dependent origination and the emptiness. This is the harmony of the two experiences. Stay in this experience. Okay, let's go back to the six elements. Where is the self? It's empty. Stay in this experience. This is known as meditation on the space-like emptiness. Okay, now slowly come out of the meditation. Again the self comes back. This is the mere appearance. From the object is empty, you are dead sure of that. But the appearance continues to happen. So therefore it's a mere appearance. This is known as, mere appearance means this is the appearance created by your mind. The way the dream creates, the dreaming mind creates the dream. magician creates the magical illusion. Likewise, all these are the appearances that you're creating by your own mind. This is known as, this experience, like illusion, is known as meditation on the illusion like emptiness. Stay in this experience that, yes, what I'm experiencing is the self, the boy, girl, self, my friends, my house, coronavirus. They're all just a mere appearance, operating on mere appearance. From the object is all empty. Just as this self dissolves in this experience of the emptiness, you subject the same analysis, known as the ultimate analysis, to the sickness, aging, fear of coronavirus, anxiety, anguish related to coronavirus. Subject the same experience to this analysis. You see that they dissolve. They're like illusion. From the object, they are just empty. The moment you feel that even the fear of coronavirus, even the anxiety of the coronavirus, even that, when subject to analysis, we see that it's just, again, my mental creation. From the object, it's just empty. The moment you feel that, you see there's a tremendous upliftment. The fear, the heaviness, the corrosion of the mind simply drops, and it will be replaced by the intense feeling of lightness and the peace of mind. This, if gains stability in terms of experience, this is the experience of the nirvana. Okay, we pray that this experience will be shared by all the dear sentient beings. Okay, we stop here. We do the quick some mantra recitations, and with this meditation emptiness, and of course it involves little bit of technicalities as well. And those of us who felt a little lost on the technical, don't worry. Keep in mind that this is like say the encouragement for us, persuasion to study more, reflect more, and you will get there. It's just a matter of the practice. It's a matter of the habituation. You will get there. You will really have the clear, vivid experience of emptiness eventually, if you really pursue through the study, reflection, meditation. Okay, let's recite the mantras. Imagine that all sentient beings are joining you. Those who died to the coronavirus, those who are badly bedridden in the hospitals, those who are affected by the coronavirus, who are quarantined, and all the medical staff in the front line, those who are helping us to stop the coronavirus, and everyone in this world. Just let us visualize all of them with us, with a very pure heart of compassion, seeing everything like an illusion. We are then reciting these mantras to reap the illusion-like benefit, and the benefit through with the most conducive the factors of the compassion, unconditional love, compassion, bodhicitta, and the wisdom of emptiness. Om Mone Mone Maha Mone Swaha. 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 Om Dare Du Dare Dure 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 Swaha.
Om Dare Dure Swaha. Deyata Om Begaze Maha Begaze Ranza Samunga de Swaha. Deyata Om Begaze Maha Begaze Ranza Samunga de Swaha. Deyata Om Begaze Maha Begaze Ranza Samunga de Swaha. Deyata Om Begaze Maha Begaze Ranza Samunga de Swaha. Deyata Om Begaze Maha Begaze Ranza Samunga de Swaha. Deyata Om Begaze Maha Begaze Ranza Samunga de Swaha. Deyata Om Begaze Maha Begaze Ranza Samunga de Swaha. Okay, we'll do the end declaration prayer. End declaration prayer, page 288. Page 288. Let us pray that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the true source of joy and happiness on this earth, that he lives long and that his wishes be fulfilled spontaneously. Let us also pray that all those who died to this coronavirus from all over the world, I think more than like 2 lakhs, the 2 lakh people died, and some like 1 million people tested positive. Let us pray that all those who are in the hospitals going through a very challenging time, let's pray that and they will recover very soon and be united with their parents, with their children, with their family members. And let us pray that all these medical staff, the doctors, the nurses, and all the other staff, may they not contract this disease, and they forever remain very strong and be able to provide the medical assistance as required. And then all the people, let us pray that, in other words, let us pray that in order to help all the people to come out of this fear of the coronavirus, let us pray that soon the experts, the scientists, they find the vaccine or the medical treatments as soon as possible, so that everybody will come back to normalcy and to appreciate a new life of compassion, new life of the interdependency, new life of harmony between the beings, to see that, okay, we are not different, we are not divided, we are one, we are all the heavily dependent. The coronavirus does not know the caste, creed, gender, the ethnicity, and so forth. The coronavirus tells us that we are all just interdependent. We are just one family, one big family. Okay, and let us all pray that this teaching on compassion, and His Holiness says, His Holiness advice that finally we must tackle this coronavirus. We come together out of the spirit of love and compassion. We must help the fellow human beings and animals with love and affection in the midst of this coronavirus outbreak. Okay. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful, generous Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samadabhadra too realize things as they are, also I dedicate all these merits in the best way that I may follow their perfect example. I dedicate all these rules of virtue with the dedication praised as the best by all the Buddhas and by all Buddhas who appear in the 3 times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. Chanjo samjo boy Ma ye ba nam ge gyoro je ge ba nyam ba me ba ya ko ne gondo pe varai sho. May the Supreme Bodhicitta that is not arisen arise and grow, and may that which is arisen not diminish but increase forevermore. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world.
Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into that enlightened state. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization that is in the prayers of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of 3 times, and to the upholding of the Dharma and teaching of realization. May I, in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect way, and the 2 stages. With a wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. By the power of practicing and supplicating to you, may all be free from sickness, poverty, and conflicts, and may Dharma and auspiciousness proliferate in all the places where we abide. The path of union of emptiness and compassion is lucidly explained by the protector of both the Dharma and the beings of the land of snows. You are the lotus holder Tenzin Gyatso. We supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces, humans or non-humans, who help by malice through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas, be totally vanquished through the power of the truth of the rituals. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages and the paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajratara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings on dependent origination in particular, even in the course of my life. Okay, see you tomorrow. And tomorrow the meditation is going to be the Wisdom of Emptiness again. Wisdom of Emptiness. Before that, we'll include the Bodhicitta commitment. Very quick Bodhicitta commitment and the Wisdom of Emptiness. And the text to be read is the chapter 1 of Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. And the text, we send it through the Tibet's Facebook. We also send it through the YouTube link. We'll try. The text will be there. We're going to read the chapter 1. Chapter 1 is the benefit of bodhicitta. This is so precious, bodhicitta. And of course, although it is so precious, until we are aware of the benefit of this, then we may not be able to take this, we may not be too keen to extract this treasure of the bodhicitta. Extremely precious, this meditation bodhicitta. So tomorrow, reading of the bodhicitta text, the chapter 1, Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, and then the bodhicitta commitment plus the emptiness meditation, or emptiness meditation and followed by the bodhicitta commitment, to share the wisdom of emptiness with all the dear sentient beings. Okay, thank you. Be happy. See you tomorrow.